this is a play out of a lawyer's playbook. If he can try to put a case against us like this, now he wants us to bite early and try to charge him, because then he can allege retribution, strengthening this case and then making it look like we are being vindictive and targeting him with retribution so that he can use this civil case. He's basically put this down as protection, right? This is now a deterrent for us not to charge him, because we can get into a retribution case and get the charges potentially thrown out if he's good at his job. That's exactly what's going on
See,
here.
but
Now, if I was a lawyer, this is what I'd do.
It doesn't make any sense, because yesterday I told him if he admits to what he did to me over the phone, that I would not go after his bar license and I wouldn't charge him with anything. And he admitted to me what he did, and then he goes and does this. It just doesn't make any sense.
901, 1041.
As well,
what he's trying to say is that you don't have probable cause, reasonable suspicion, or any other legal basis. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to say he was detained, right?
Yep.
So he wasn't detained, because if he was detained, he wouldn't have been able to freely leave MRPD, correct?
Yep.
To get a new phone. So that one right there, he's trying to cloud the waters and say he's trying to make us admit that he was not allowed to leave MRPD, which would then say he was detained or arrested. That would make the circumstances of a detainment or an arrest. That's what he's trying to do, to make it look like we unlawfully arrested or detained him. The next trick he has here in his book is on the Fourth Amendment rights, right? Is that he is saying that basically he is trying to get us to admit that he was detained just by verbiage of us speaking. And then he's going to say that that detainment then would have made this a search, which would have violated his Fourth Amendment, instead of it just being a seizing the phone for him entering a secured area. He's trying to change the setting. He's trying to get some officer to come in here and basically say he wasn't allowed to leave the PD. He's trying to trick you, because then that makes the Fourth Amendment
see,
apply.
and the thing is that none of it makes sense as well, because at the end of the day, he consented to all of this. None of this was, it wasn't like he walked into MRPD and he was talking to his client and I said, give me your phone. While I let him through the doors, I said, listen, man, this is where we're at. If you're taking this, you're representing Ricky Riz. All I ask is let me see your phone. I'll hold on to it. I won't go through it. And do not leave MRPD. That's all I ask. He said, okay, sounds good. He even agreed to the terms, and then he still did this.
Right. The next thing he did is he's trying to get you for violation of attorney-client privilege by you taking the phone and
Richie, thank you for the tier 2. Mac, thank you for the tier 1. Doshi, thank you for the 2. Smokey, thank you for the 9. Young, thank you for the 19. Taz, thank you so much for the 2. DC, weren't you near us, or were you inside of the...
No, I was not around.
I think it was just me, because I was just letting him into the hallway.
So he did that on purpose. See, this guy's a conniving prick. I'm going to tell you that now. So he did that on purpose. So this was also a trick. Him giving you permission to search the phone with no other people.
No. I didn't.
Present.
He didn't give me permission to search. He gave me his phone in order to represent his client consensually. Put it in his hand, handed it to me. And I would also like to add, not once did he ever ask any officer, including myself, to get his phone back to then message other clients or any emergencies. There, he never said any of that. He just left and went and bought a new phone.
Okay. Okay, well, this one's stupid then, because he's trying to say you weren't violating. It was security, you're allowed to take his phone. So then the last one then is false imprisonment. So this is part of the first thing he's trying to fuck you with. He's trying to get you now with a double whammy, right? Where he's going to say that he was unlawfully detained and false imprisoned if you misspeak. To defend yourself on the unlawful detention, it's very easy to accidentally back yourself into then having false imprisoned him. So,
see, but how is any of this possible? A judge was there the whole fucking time.
That doesn't mean that judges are free of doing the wrong thing. Like, he can still appeal it to just because a judge was there doesn't mean everything is legal. Like,
no, what I'm saying is like whenever things were being the false imprisonment or whatever, the judge is who was the person I told about the situation.
Is this today?
No, this was 2 days ago. The judge is the one.
When is the court case?
I don't know.
Night.
Oh, did it actually happen last night?
It happened last night.
And what was the verdict?
Did you tell him you were doing the when did the court case? No,
Yeah,
I don't know.
case.
He filed last night.
Got it. Okay. Ooh, you scared me. All right, what were you gonna ask, DC?
When did you tell him you were putting in a bar complaint?
On the phone, DC, you missed that. I literally called him and I, explained my gripes with what he did. And I told him, I was like, I'm not dumb. This is my first rodeo. I know exactly what you did. Just admit it to me, and I won't go for your bar cert or your bar license, and I won't go and push charges for obstruction. And he said, I apologize. I fucked up. I got a lot of shit going on, a lot of clients calling me. I didn't call so-and-so because I was tipping him off. I was calling him to talk about a case. And I was like, brother, I'm not stupid. He goes, well, maybe I allegedly gotten different clothes and went and tipped them off that the raid was happening. He admitted to it on the phone. Even after all I said, I was like, you give me an apology and we're cool. I won't even go after your bar license. He apologizes and then he puts a case up later that night. As well as we're on the topic, before I forget, Melody Burks, or whatever her name is a bitch. Okay? Listen, I'm gonna explain why. Melody has been in this lobby for 3 fucking weeks, representing clients, doing her thing. Never have we ever gotten, fucked with her whatsoever. We allowed her to do her job, okay? She then goes and names drop another lieutenant to a lieutenant and saying that she was cleared to be hired on for LSPD. She gets hired. We talk in the emails about the hiring, right? I think you were part of that, DC, potentially. And yes, we were all like, who the fuck hired her? And we figured out that she was going from, playing telephone saying that so-and-so said yes, and she shouldn't have been hired. So we fire her. She is now going to all the lawyers saying that the LSPD is opening up cases on each lawyer, digging up dirt in order to get them fired and or their certifications getting removed. And how we hired her to collect her DNA so that we could kill her or something. And just spreading this bullshit. Complete bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, she shouldn't have gotten hired in the first place. That was oversight by command, because why would you just blanketly believe her if she's like, oh, yeah, Fu told me I could get hired?
Yep.
Someone did that to me yesterday. They went to Fu, and they were like, oh, yeah, the DC said I could transfer.
So it's just like this whole thing is just, what the fuck? Do we have anything that we can go after her as well, or no?
Wait, is Melody Burke leaking shit to the lawyer?
No. So she was a lawyer. She got hired on when she shouldn't have been hired on. Then she got removed because it was like that, and then like a few other things she got removed for in her cadet phase. So now she's going around saying she only got hired. They only we only hired her so we could collect her DNA and get it on file. And then she's also saying that we're opening up cases to get all of the lawyers disbarred.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's even, they submitted it in this lawsuit. Melody Burks, call me when you get a second. Listen, I can't say much, but they're going to kill me soon. But the LSPD is going after all lawyers, you and Long included. They submitted that as evidence.
Dude, what? They're going to kill me soon? It's not that I don't need help. It's just I need to focus.
What in the... What the fuck is going on?
Fucking mafia?
Brother, I woke up to this shit and I'm not kidding. Like, I talked to this guy on the phone. I was like, listen, man, all I want is an apology. We need lawyers. It is what it is. You fucked up. It's okay. And then I wake up to this and I'm just like, what is going on?
This Jake Walker guy, I had someone in the cells and I arrested them for they were driving for like negligent driving or some shit. They were obstructing. They were basically trying to pick someone up, but they argued that they were just the argument that he gave me was that his client was drunk driving, and since there's nothing in the penal code for drunk driving, I can't charge him with anything. I had to let him go. So I just charged the guy with reckless endangerment, which is a felony, and then so he basically talked his client into a felony. But
Well,
yeah, I don't. I
He's
don't know.
also one of those guys who sit down there and go, anyone need a lawyer? Let me know. Anyone need a lawyer? Let me know. Kane, call me. Let's see.
Sir.
Hey, come into the commissioner's office.
Yeah, I knocked on the window, but you guys were talking.
Anything about people saying they need my approval to give Team Doctor
I've never heard of that.
You got
I
it?
think the doors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
all
door's
people.
unlocked. Perfect.
I don't know
Good
who the
morning.
fuck said that shit.
CNDC.
So yeah, that's
Alright.
where we're at.
All right, Anderson. So
Talk louder, Commissioner, if you don't mind.
okay, Anderson. There's two problems here with this case.
Okay.
He's trying to catch you and the PD into a bad place. You're gonna have to do some good witness prep here because he's trying to get us basically by saying we have unlawfully detained someone. He's trying to get us to admit that he wasn't supposed to leave to go get the phone. He's trying to catch us in a bad spot because what that will do is the minute that we say he was detained, it gives credence to his Fourth Amendment rights claim.
Correct.
That it wasn't for. The other thing is with the unlawful detention, we need to be very careful with how we walk that one because depending on the wording of the police witness or what someone says, if we say that he was not allowed to leave the station, we're admitting that he was detained, which also then opens us up to the. You see how he buried the false imprisonment at the bottom?
Can
Yeah,
can we not ask lawyers if they're going to represent a client in regards to a case? Can we not ask said lawyer to stay in PD? Is that not legal?
We can't trap him here. No.
If I may, the basis, because I went over this with Pike as well, not the actual submission, but everything building up into it. The basis of Jake Walker receiving an order from an officer to not leave the MRPD, right, as I put in my motion, is Walker was informed of motions by the LSPD that should he leave or have outside communications could thwart those plans should he make communication with other individuals.
Word of the day.
Now, we are not initially in the stance that Jake Walker had intention to contact somebody else, but that we would rather negate any chance of the information of the raid getting out by asking Mr. Walker, by essential order, that he wasn't to leave until the raid commenced.
It's also an ask, not a command.
And the whole thing about going through the cell phone, the reason why I requested Meadows as a subpoenaed witness is because I witnessed Val Meadows consensually ask Walker to look through the call logs specifically on his phone.
It was the judge who looked through his phone, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Justice Meadows was taking it upon himself to make sure he didn't have to go through any bar complaint or ethics violation, anything of that matter, to which Walker would have contacted somebody else. In lieu of that, Justice Meadows found that within the 30 or so minutes that Walker first represented Ricky into him coming back to MRPD and having a consensual search of the phone, Walker contacted Cal Mao.
Cop can ask for ID, but if you didn't commit a crime, he can't
the problem
make
is
you.
with detainment. The
No,
detainment couldn't have happened until
completely
after we
different.
had suspicion of him actually interfering and being involved in a crime or interfering with the search warrant. It can't come before. That's the issue.
And at that point, whenever he returned to MRPD, we were setting up for the raid. There was never a moment where he was stuck inside of anywhere. He was representing his client. We then detained his client or put his client in cuffs and went downstairs and performed the raid. There was no, time that he was stuck anywhere. And again, how could we detain this individual when he freely walked out of MRPD and made the fucking phone call? How does that work?
Well, I think it becomes a bigger problem of him abusing the keys that he has to our building. We can dismiss anyone from our building at any time, including lawyers from the detainment areas in particular. I've done it in the past when they violated our rules that we've set out.
Yep.
We do have the ability to set rules on our secure areas, so like prison, jail areas, etc., like that. So we can make him store his electronic devices. The thing he'll try to argue is the fact that we asked him to give the phone to an officer, right? That we had to hold it until he was done. What we should have did is probably get him to store his phone in his car and then pat him down to make sure he did not have a communication device when he's in a secure area. I think overall, though, we just shouldn't be telling lawyers that we're going to look for a search warrant with a judge to avoid this in the future. We don't have to tell the lawyer we're looking for a search warrant. They get to argue it after it's been executed and then file a case like this.
Right. They basically have a probable cause hearing based off of the warrant. Even if we get it signed by a judge, they can another judge review for the probable cause afterwards. But I don't think this is, you know, a blanket statement type situation. Like, this was very contextual because Walker was around when we were talking about the search warrant. We had to inform Ricky, right, that we were going to search his property. Walker was well aware of that.
Yeah, so the way it went down, Commish, is Ricky was already in the prison or already in the jail cell for about 40 minutes. And we walked over to Ricky. His lawyer was present, and we said, Ricky, we're getting ready. Give us 2 minutes. Warrant's been signed. We'll be with you shortly. We went up and did a debrief. By the time we came back down, lawyer had then ran out of MRPD and made that call. So at that point, it's like, how do I inform Ricky what's going on due to the time? Because I can't ask his lawyer, hey, let me talk to your client alone. Like, I can't do that. At that point, as a lawyer, he's not legally able to do that kind of stuff, is he?
If, depending on the way how this like civil case goes, right, I can further continue investigation, because if we get Meadows to testify on stand that Walker consented to the search of his phone, I already know that he contacted Cow Mao. I subpoenaed Cow Mao's records for the hour that Walker was repping. And
oh, my mic's getting staticky.
if any of that comes back to a text message of Cow Mao alerting of
Better now?
Ricky's
Testing?
raid,
Hello? Is it better?
which led to you guys then getting caught up in that apartment like you were telling me about, Walker would be in felony obstruction because he
you.
alerted people to stop that raid.
Yeah, can you guys hear me? I had to.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, this is more your guys' repertoire. I'm just blown away. I can't believe it. I couldn't believe that he did that to begin with.
I think what we really have to do here is that this is basically a civil proceeding, right? Which means that it's not, we just need to make the better case that this lawyer is acting in bad faith, right, on his representation of these things, and paint him in the worst manner possible. So what I would say
Appreciate
the
you,
best strategy
Overkill.
to do here, Kane,
I see. Think
is
of it
to make
2
it look
months.
like he's abusing his station and position. He abused the keys that we gave him to MRPD. He was acting in bad faith. And we can show that he was acting in bad faith the entire time by the actions that he took, by leaving MRPD, getting a new phone, and then calling an associate of Mr. South, which ended up in, did you guys end up being attacked, ambushed?
Oh, absolutely. They were waiting. They were fucking waiting for us. After he returned to MRPD, after he made the phone call, there was then 3 military vehicles outside patrolling MRPD, front and back. That's what heightened our suspicion. We were like, what's going on right now? There's people outside with guns driving around in Jeeps waiting for us to leave. And then when we went to the apartments, they had a helicopter on a skyscraper. They had people on both north and south exits, and we were trapped underground in the parking garage for north of an hour, not being able to move. They were waiting for us. It was an ambush.
The The problem is I don't know if I have the PC to continue the investigation off of Walker's phone calls without Vel testifying.
I mean, wouldn't
Because
that be
a
felony
justice-
No,
obstruction?
he has to be compelled to testify. The judge has to be able to testify.
That's what I was about to-
No,
And he at least
ab-
has to make a record of the situation.
Yo, Basin, thank you so much for the prime, bro.
I mean, he was there in official capacity. He has to
Dude.
document it.
Come here.
The reality is that we need to go and we need to take the gears to this guy. We need to make him look like shit because what he did was shit. And then we have to win on
baby? What are you whining about, baby?
we have to win just on the civil proceedings by painting him horribly and just showing that he did all of this in bad faith. Then when we're done that, after all of that is done, then we arrest him at the trial. When it's done, the verdict is given, then we arrest him.
Charge him with felony obstruction.
Yeah, or whatever else we think fits.
I mean, yeah, after the investigation, get him with the felony if we still have to prove it. You know
After
what I mean?
the investigation? What do you mean? Do we make arrests from the raid?
First by the military, then by the
From the raid,
police, now by the
yes, if I
lawyers.
remember correctly, that's how Rami got caught up, right?
Yeah, we arrested Rami El Rahman during the raid. We then arrested, I believe, Mr. Kaboon and a couple others during the transport. But during the raid itself, yes, Rami El Rahman.
I mean, based off of those arrests, I could subpoena their phones to see who alerted them of the raid, but
Honestly, we have so much connection to Ricky South and all of CG. If you're telling me all you can do is fit the square peg of this cow guy into the CG bucket because you made arrests there, I don't know how much of an investigation is really needed here to prove this.
Yeah, we can
He
also...
went with the intention. He phoned a member, ended up getting ambushed. He obstructed justice. He did what we told him explicitly not to do.
Kamau got arrested for ambushing a prison transport with Mr. K. Zolo.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go.
Rami.
Yeah, there you go.
You have everything you need
Case
right
closed.
there. He
Okay.
left the PD with his keys. He went to go get a brand new phone to phone a member of CG after Ricky South told him to. Is that what you told me, Sutter? Ricky
Yep.
South told him to?
Oh,
in front
no,
of you?
no. I didn't hear
Oh,
that.
okay.
No. No.
Okay.
But I mean, that's no doubt what happened. I just have
Did
no
Ricky
evidence.
try to get someone to phone, or did you hear him say anything like that?
He asked me for his phone about 400 times, which is quite literally why when the lawyer came here, I did the whole thing with his phone so that it didn't happen.
I mean, if the lawyer really wanted to be an evil mastermind and be smart, he would have found some random idiot out on the street, got them to phone this cow, and then, it'd been fine.
Well,
But-
we're also forgetting he admitted to me on the phone that he changed clothes and tipped people off about the raid as well. He's denying
Wait,
the cow shit.
who?
The problem is, well, I guess it's not a problem, but you did offer him basically immunity for telling you that.
No, I told him, I said, listen, you give me an apology, right? And I won't go after your bar license out of respect for you as a lawyer. We need lawyers. He said, allegedly I might have dressed in different clothes and went and tipped somebody off so that they knew that the raid was happening.
Did
Why
you say
don't
that face to face or through
make a
text
phone
message?
call?
Through phone call.
That is at the very least, reasonable suspicion, Anderson. And when you put it all
No,
together, I mean, we get
100%.
TPC.
I need that written somewhere because I'm going to bring that up in questioning.
Yeah, he also sent me a text. This is from yesterday. Just wanted to formally apologize for my actions yesterday and mishearing your orders and wanted to thank you for giving me a second chance. I
Take
got
a picture of that.
food for you to keep you nourished for the big game against La State University. I need you to make the quarterback weep.
Well, this shows that he knew he did wrong. And that he knew that he wasn't supposed to go there.
Yes,
oh my God.
please-
Oh my God.
please-
Bustin,
please
do
send me
not
those
reply
fucking
to that.
texts.
I
Did not
didn't.
reply-
I
did you
did
reply to
not.
it?
I'm not dumb enough. I'm not that dumb.
Okay.
I'm not
because you know what
smart,
he's
but I'm
trying
not
to
that
do?
dumb.
He's trying to get you to admit, to say something like, I accept your apology. You probably just shouldn't have left the PD.
Hey, that's why.
Admit that it was an order, and then he gets you for the unlawful detainment.
That's
This
why
guy's
I
a
like
fucking
phone
rat.
calls. That's why I like phone
Holy
calls.
shit.
That's why I like talking to people face to face. Right there. That's why I don't text. The government, they see the text.
Okay, so we want to stray away from situational security that he had any type of reprimand to the building.
Yeah, we want to make sure that he was not unlawfully told to stay in the building, basically.
Well, right. So there's a difference between an unlawful order, right, and unreasonable seizure, right? Because that's the whole
Two
aspect.
different pieces of
Right.
this.
That's the whole aspect of the Fourth Amendment violation, that it's an unreasonable, not an unlawful, an unreasonable search and seizure. My point in going through with this is that the elevation of what was going on around Mr. South, right, around Ricky, and Walker knowing what was going on, we then had to elevate the security. So it is not unreasonable to ask Mr. Walker of his cell phone and of his time at MRPD, right, until the raid commenced. That's the angle I was going forward with this.
Couldn't you just try and charge him with accessory for all the shit that happened on the raid too?
If he is found to have alerted Cow, who then alerted the rest of them, 100%, he would be an accessory to all of it.
What did Rami get charged with? One-time principal aggravated assault and battery.
Only one officer went down during the raid.
It was a really good raid.
And then the reason why he got such a large reduction is because he was in the vehicle bleeding out for around 50 to 60 minutes. And that was, I offered him medical, he declined medical and wanted to see the rest of the raid through. But yeah, we only lost one officer during that whole thing.
Be accessory, one times accessory, which is like, let me look. $1,000.
That's why I say we should just get him with felony obstruction. We don't really have a charge for like getting in the middle of a raid other than obstruction.
Yeah, but we get him with both.
Yeah.
It would be principal felony obstruction because he was the one who made the phone call, and then accessory to whatever Rami got charged with.
Yep.
All right. I have to figure out. So Johnson is currently trying to remove me from the case.
Why? You're our DA.
To the courts, the plaintiffs in this matter move to dismiss Kane Anderson as representation for the LSPD, as he is directly involved with the case and has a conflict of interest. Kane Anderson called the plaintiffs and advised he would be under direct order from Commander Bustin and advised Jake Walker to return to MRPD. Kane Anderson participated when Justin Meadows contents of Jake Walker's phone. After the fact, Mr. Anderson sent a text message, Exhibit 1, to Jake offering an ultimatum to the commander to say sorry or face warrantless disbarment and or criminal charges. Not what I said, though. But, you know, Johnson's just being over the top.
Hold on. Isn't there a picture? What did it say?
I can tell you exactly 1 second.
Yeah, they're trying to get me to
As
represent
advised by
myself.
Commander Sider, he will not pursue criminal charges for failing to obey to his order. Should you find him and admit to your actions with an apology, he wants defense lawyers in the city and does not want to make motions or moves to disbar you.
It's frustrating because we really were trying to be as cordial with these individuals as possible, and here we are, you know.
He will not pursue criminal charges for failing to obey his orders.
City goes down.